Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 4. So in Module 4, you are submitting your first essay, the narrative essay. You started planning this essay in Module 3. So the first step is to go back to the assignment in Module 3 where you did some pre-writing and planning for this essay, and then look at the feedback that I've given you so that you are prepared to start drafting your essay and submitting it. You have the whole week to produce a final draft for the narrative essay, so you are expected to use that week to write the essay as opposed to, just writing it at Sunday night at 11 o'clock or something. Don't do that. Make sure that you are giving yourself plenty of time during the week to write, as well as you read your essay over again and make sure that you are correcting mistakes and that kind of thing. So this is what the module looks like. You can see the only assignment in here is the essay itself. So that is the submission spot, but you will want to look at all of these other resources before you actually submit the essay. So the assignment is in here again. Probably the most common criteria that students don't meet when they submit their essay is making sure that the event that they've written about is specific and brief. So a lot of times I'll get a student who will write about like something that happened over a long period of time. So if you have something like that where it's like a reoccurring thing that happened in your life, or they'll write about I don't know, their depression or something. Depression happens over a long period of time, and so you can't use that for this type of assignment because it doesn't allow us to focus. So it needs to be one specific event. Maybe it's the moment that you realize that you were depressed and you probably needed some help, or maybe it's the incident where it kind of started your depression or whatever, but you can't just write about like a whole series of years where things happen because it doesn't allow the essay to be specific. So make sure that you're kind of thinking about that topic wise, and usually I can catch these as I look through those pre-writing journals, but not always, depending on how the student has described it. So make sure that you're just looking back through your own essay and double checking there. And then making sure that you've included things like dialogue and specific description. You're writing it from a first-person perspective, but keep in mind that your reader, who would just be, think of like your class as your reader, the person you're writing to, could be anyone in the class. And so, if you're not describing things accurately or with enough wording, then we can't picture it in our head. So we don't know the people in your story, we don't know the setting in your story, so you need to make sure that you are being specific there. And then this last part, sometimes students will leave off in the conclusion. That's where I want you to discuss, how did you change from the event? Why was it significant to you, and that kind of thing. Sometimes students kind of let their story sort of fall off a cliff at the end, and you don't want that. So make sure that you have a nice tidy conclusion there at the end. So there's some resources in the module to help you out. This is just like a lecture video that you can watch, and I basically take you through the steps of writing a narrative essay. And so if you are getting stuck with something, or you're starting to write your story and you're not really sure how it's supposed to go, make sure that you watch this video because I just go through like each step of how it should be put together. I've also got ideas for topics if you if the topic that you chose didn't really work very well, or if you kind of picked something that was way too broad, you may look at this topic ideas and just kind of see if something else will help you. And then I've got a couple of sample essays here as well, so you can see what it looks like. They're student sample essays, and they can help you out a little bit. Obviously, they are student essays, so they're not perfect, but at least you can see kind of what a narrative is supposed to look like. And then I've got more information on formatting with MLA. You are expected to format all of your essays with MLA. The formatting is different from the documentation. The formatting is how it looks on the page when you bring up your Word document. And so make sure that you're following that. And this PDF is really helpful for that as well. And so if you have questions, you can always let me know. but that's expected of you. And then I also recommend getting your essay done with enough time to send it into the online writing lab. So the online writing lab, we use this BrainFuse online tutoring button here, and this will take you to the BrainFuse page. I have a video showing you what it looks like. When it brings up the home page, there's an option to use the online writing lab, and so that's what you would use in order to send in your essay. I think that it's incredibly important for students to use the online writing lab. Even if you're a good writer and have a lot of experience with writing, there are always going to be mistakes in your writing. And so just having somebody else look over it, since we're not doing a peer edit, make sure that you have a second set of eyes looking at it, whether that's using the online writing lab or having a friend or family member look it over. That's always a good idea. But they do need, if you're using the online writing lab, they need at least 2 business days to respond. So it's due by Sunday, but you have to have it submitted to the online writing lab by like Wednesday. So he would have, Thursday and Friday to respond to you before the weekend. So just kind of keep that in mind. The only disadvantage is you have to have that draft done earlier. So then this is the submission spot for the narrative essay. When you turn an essay in this class, the actual submission spot is not the criteria for the essay. So I've got a link to the criteria so that you can make sure you meet those minimum requirements, but this just tells you the format that's required and then how many points it's worth. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then underneath is a link to the it shows you what the rubric's going to look like. So when I grade essays, it takes me a lot longer to grade them because I use this rubric, or I will use a rubric. And rubrics help me to kind of categorize areas where students need help. So you can see that, introduction, main points and body paragraphs, organization, grammar, spelling, and then writing style are all separate categories. And you'll get a score for each one, and that total will be then your essay score. And so that can help you out a little bit. You can see what the descriptions are in each category. You want to feel like your essay is within the exemplary and competent level, because if it's in proficient versus novice, those are going to be, C's and D's versus A's and B's. So you want to kind of, look over your essay, read through it, and then, look at this rubric and make sure that you feel like you're within that, shoot for the exemplary category. So if you have questions about your essay, feel free to let me know. It's not cheating to send me work before you submit it to see if you're on the right track. That's totally fine. It does take me a few days to respond though, so don't send it to me like Sunday night or something. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions, I hope you have a wonderful week.